What's going on, everybody? So in today's video, I'm going to talk all about one of my favorite morphs, the normal. I'm calling it a normal morph just because there's such a wide range of different ball pythons now that to me, the normal should be considered in its own category. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly why every breeder and every collector should have these in its collection. What's going on, guys? It's Bacon from Blue Line Morphs again, and we're getting started, and we're going to keep this thing going again, just like I said on the daily videos. So today's video is all about the normal ball pythons, okay? I'm going to get into why it's important to pay homage to them, what you can use them for as breeders, and why and how you can utilize them to expand your collection and ultimately prove out snakes and hets, so forth and so on. So if you're new to the channel, we're a ball python channel. I do post daily. I try to post daily, obviously over the last couple of weeks. It's been more difficult because of the pandemic and including myself getting sick. But I have an Instagram channel, blue_line_morphs. Go check that out. I do post on there daily, interact daily. I go live with my buddy Rob from Racer Reptiles, who's actually been moving into my basement for about 13 weeks for an exchange program for nurses because he hasn't come up here in New York and help out all the hospitals that are really overwhelmed from the whole coronavirus pandemic. So head over to his channel, also Racer Reptiles. Don't forget to like, subscribe my channel. So we're going to get right into it. So around my neck, if you guys watch my channel, you know who this is. This is Big Mama. She's my normal female. She's 4,100 grams. I keep expecting her to lay eggs, but I think maybe I was wrong. She did a pre-lay shed, which I thought was a pre-lay shed, around March 4th or 5th. And now it's like April 9th or 10th or 11th or something. I don't know. This quarantine sitting in my house thing is, I don't even know what day it is anymore. She hasn't laid. I don't really feel anything, so I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'll try to lock her again, whatever the case may be. But let's get right into it. So before in the introduction, I mentioned how a normal ball python is a morph, right? And I'm sure a lot of people went nuts. Like, no, it's not a morph. The whole reason for a morph is a mutation in the gene, right? And that's what makes it different. It's morphing. It's changing. Well, you know what? It's at the point now where there's so many ball pythons that normals, to me, is a different morph, right? To say she's a normal she's a morph. Yeah, she exhibits no actual like change from the normal style or the jungle ball python, but to me, this is a category of its own just because there are a wide ranges of different color normals, light or dark. The patterns do slightly change in different variations. So first and foremost, guys, if you like ball pythons, this is where it all started from, right? You should always pay homage to where you came from. And the reality is, whether it's a piebald or whether it's a clown or whether it's a sunset or with new monsoon, whatever the case may be, all those ball pythons started like Big Mama, right? Oh, she's falling off already. They all started like Big Mama. This is how they all started. The brown, the black, and the white, and the different little alien heads throughout. Isn't she awesome? So we got to remember where we came from. If you're going to appreciate all the different type of morphs, then you have to realize and you have to appreciate the normals, okay? It's the most recognizable ball python, obviously, right? Everyone knows them to be like this, and they're also the cheapest. So let's get into why, if you're a breeder, you're going to want normals in your collection. So just like I mentioned before, the normals are the cheapest, all right? Sorry if I sound like down and out and like quiet, and I normally am, as I am still getting over the whole corona virus, COVID-19 thing. So back to what I was saying. You can buy a breed. Now, I don't recommend getting male normals, and you're going to understand that in a second. So you can buy a breed-ready female, a normal like this. She's 4,100 grams. She's pretty big. But you can get a 2,500 gram, a 2,000 gram normal female ball python for probably $150 to $200, okay? Anytime you're trying to buy breed-ready females, especially even a 1 or 2 gene combo, they're going to be a little bit more money, right? If you want to get your crazy, you want a clown, like just a normal clown, breed-ready female is going to be over $1,000. So if you're trying to start off as a breeder, I suggest buying 3 or 4 of these, okay? 3 or 4 normals that are good to go. And then the next thing you can do is buy a powerhouse male. Now, if you pay attention to my channel, I do have the Coral Glow Black Best Trick Mojave male. He was about $500. Richie from Richie Blues Reptiles, he hooked me up. He probably could have got $700 for that snake. So let's say you do that. Let's say you buy 3 or 4 of these normal ball python females, right, that are ready to go, 2,000 grams, 2,500 grams. Preferably, you want to get them much bigger so you get more eggs, right? Maybe try to look for these big normals that are 3,000 or like her 4,000 grams. I bought her, I overpaid for her. I paid $225 for her when she's about 2,600 grams. I know I overpaid him. The guy was a snake flipper. He saw that I was into it. He saw that I was new. He took advantage of it. That's my fault. It is what it is. But let's get back. So let's say you have 3 or 4 of these big normals. They're all 3,500 grams. Now let's say you drop 7, 8, maybe 800 to $1,000 on a male that has 4, 5, 6 different genes inside of him, right? Why is it important to have these normals? Well, here's the thing. So if you're trying to expand, you can take your male and you breed to your 4 normals. Because you're taking a male, and these are essentially blank canvases, okay? Think of these guys as a blank, you're a painter, you're a sculptor, right? It's a hunk of rock that's untouched, or it's a blank white piece of paper that's ready to go. Now you take your powerhouse male, your 3, 4, 5, 6 gene combo male, whatever you can afford, whatever you can find, and you start breeding them out, you start pimping them out, right? Everyone loves what I said that last time. You pimp them out to all your females, your normal females. So if you have 3 or 4 normal females that are 3,500 grams, let's say they give you 7 to 10 eggs depending, and what you lock them with is this crazy male, a 4, 5, 6 gene combo male. Now all those females are going to produce, they can produce 1 gene snakes, 2 gene, 3 gene, or reproduce the actual male that you started with. And so if you're trying to breed and you're new to breeding, that's what you kind of need to do, right? It's an inexpensive way to expand your collection. So if you start, let's take my example before, Coral Glow, Black Pastel, Trick Mojave male, right? Let's say I just breed him to Big Mama right here. She could reproduce him, right? She could give me a Coral Glow, Black Pastel, Trick Mojave male, right? Boom, right there. My investment is paid for. I reproduced him. If you hit the odds, let's say she gives me 10 eggs. Let's say I get him 3 times. Those are great odds. Let's say I get him 3 times. I tripled my money right there. But you're also going to get males that you might get a couple just Coral Glow Black Pastel, which people love. They have the purple looking snake. You might get a couple Mojaves, right? You might get a couple tricks. You might start get some Mojave tricks. You might get some Coral Glow Mojaves. So you might get all these different plethora of snakes because you took essentially a snake. Let's say the Coral Glow Black Pastel Trick Mojave male. Let's say he's 4 colors, okay? Let's say you count each gene as a color, and this has no colors. This is white. Okay, so you're taking those 4 colors and you're throwing them onto the canvas. That's your normal. Okay, and now that canvas is either going to soak in all 4 colors, 3 colors, 2 colors, or 1 color, right? There's a chance you might get a couple normals out of there, but chances are you won't. But that's how you can expand your collection, because now you do that for 1 season. You took your powerhouse male that you spent $1,000 on, and let's say you pimped him out to 4 of your big normals, and let's say he reproduced himself 5 times. Okay, maybe you got a female out of that reproduced the same genes as him, have her as a holdback, or you could sell 2 or 3 of those reproduction of the original powerhouse male. You make all your money back. Now you're in the green right away, all because you started with normal ball pythons. You can prove out snakes. So let's say you bought a male from somewhere, right? And it's let's say you have a blue-eyed Lucy male, but somebody's claiming it's got 4 genes in it, right? I mean, the dad was this, the female was this, and it's X, Y, and Z. Or it's not a blue-eyed Lucy, and it's just a male that doesn't really exhibit all the traits or the morphs that the breeder you're getting it from is telling you it is. Now, I'm not saying not to believe everybody, but let's say you don't know what's in that male, okay? Or let's say you get a male that you don't know what it is, right? You kind of see 2 or 3 genes in it, but you're not entirely sure. You start breeding it to a normal, you know there's no interference, like, unless you buy a normal that has some sort of het, and that thing's a het, which, whatever. But let's say you get a normal that has no other genes in it, it's not het for anything else, and then you have a male, you need to figure out what's in it. You breed it to this female, take a look at its babies. It's going to tell you exactly what was in that male to begin with, and you know it came from the male because the normal's not putting any other genes besides the actual normal. It's the blank canvas, right? So you can prove out a lot of your snakes by using these normals. Now, the good thing about the normals, like I said before, is even though it's a normal ball python, they do come in different shades, right? She's kind of a light, for a big girl, she's a little bit lighter. Then you have some normals that are super dark. And also the patterns do change. They're pretty much all the same pattern-wise, but they do have different variations in them. So if you're working with a gene, let's say GHI, and you want to make it even darker, then find a really dark normal to mix that GHI with. So now if you have a gene like GHI that's dark, right, or black pastel, that's dark, or any other dark gene, then you find a normal that exhibits dark traits, like it's a darker looking normal, it's going to enhance your GHI, your dark morph already, to make it that much darker. So if you want to put that into something else, you want to make it darker, you can use a normal to do that. It also works the other way around. Let's say you have you want to lighten up some of these genes or some of these morphs. If you find a lighter normal, you can mix them together, you can mate them to create a lighter version of that morph, right? The other way you can do it is hets. Let's say you spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on a really expensive male. Let's say that male is like the opposite of the female I'm getting. Let's say it's a let's say it's a pied clown. Okay, you have a double recessive. Let's say it's a triple recessive. Okay, let's say you have like, I don't know, a pied clown exantic snake. Okay, a male, and you drop like $8,000 on that male. Okay. Now, obviously, you should have some sort of plan as a female to either reproduce it or have other visual clowns or pieds to kind of make your money back. But what you can also do is you take that male that has 3 recessive genes in it and you mate it with a big mama like this. You're going to have triple hets now, or double hets, right? Even if you have a double or a triple, whatever the case may be, right? Whatever. Backtrack. You have a male that has a bunch of like recessive genes. Let's say it's a double recessive, okay? Let's say it's a clown pied male. And you know what? You have one clown pied female to mate it to. Cool. Next thing you can do is, why not grab a normal, like Big Mama, mate them together. Take that male, mate him with her. Now you're only going to produce all normals, right? Which I get. You have a clutch. You have 10 normal ball pythons, but they're all going to be double het clown, double het pied. One, you can sell those really, really easily, or you can have them as holdbacks, right? If you keep 2 of those females, wait 2 years, wait 2.5 years, breed it back to the dad. You have double hets. You have a chance for reproducing the dad now. So ultimately, in conclusion, normals, you can expand your projects by keeping them as your blank canvas, okay? You can take a male, powerhouse male, mix into 3 or 4 females, and you can expand essentially you can have 40, if you have 4 normals, you can have 40 eggs, all with the chance of having or reproducing your powerhouse male. I think every collection, if you're going to be a serious ball python collector or breeder, should have a normal in it, because this is where we started from. This is where it began. This is all your crazy morphs and your crazy mutations in the ball python game all started from your normal ball pythons. So pay homage to these guys, and then you can actually utilize them to expand your collection, create double and triple hets, and also prove out any snakes you were curious about as to what genes they were holding. So there's a lot of power within your normals. It's something you should not overlook, and I recommend, if you want to get into breeding, or even if you have a couple snakes that you want to either prove out or pimp out and kind of get some of these genes flowing or create some hets, go pick up some normals. You can pick up some big normals for relatively cheap, and you can get your collection and keep it going and get it bigger and bigger. So that's it. I love Big Mama. She's probably one of my favorite snakes. I have her out more than any other snake, especially if you watch this. Hopefully she lays a clutch this year. I don't know what she's doing. She keeps proving me wrong. I keep checking every 25, 30 minutes, and she's not laying. If she doesn't lay, that's cool. I'll give her this season off, obviously. And then next season, I am going to lock her with my Coral Glow Trick Mojave, Coral Glow Black Pastel Trick Mojave male, because I do want his teeth. I can reproduce him just because he is an absolutely gorgeous snake. But yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Go pick up some normals. You won't regret it. As always, be safe. Please remember, always watch your 6.